Good evening, Huntington. I hope our families are well and remaining positive as we continue to navigate uncharted territory in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. As you may already know, the upcoming budget vote and candidate election will be conducted by absentee ballot only. All registered voters in district will receive a ballot and a postage-paid return envelope toward the end of May. Completed ballots must be returned and received in district by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, June 9th. I ask for a few moments of your time to review highlights of the proposed budget and the voting process. The last column on this slide presents the summative figures. It's worthy of pointing out that the adopted budget is much revised from the budget draft presented to the board on March 23rd, right before the pandemic took its toll on state finances. The adopted budget total, the upper right at $135,938,167, is close to $1.3 million less than that presented to the board in March, with a tax levy that is over $1 million less, and that tax levy is over $466,000 below the state mandated tax cap. Here you'll see 6 primary areas of consideration as we restructure the budget starting in late March throughout April and into the beginning of May, and I'll speak to each of them very briefly. As is the case every year, the budget planning process was aligned with the district's mission, vision, and core belief system, with a focus on addressing student needs in a fiscally prudent manner. And for those familiar with our district mission statement, you understand why it has withstood the test of time. It recognizes the importance of community and support for our providing a well-rounded and individually driven educational program that prepares students for their respective next levels. And again, these thoughts are constantly in mind as we plan a budget regardless of the circumstances. As we navigated the difficult process, it was also important for us to look toward maintaining instructional and extracurricular programs across the grade levels. We worked diligently to maintain class sizes at educationally sound levels, to maintain and in some areas actually enhance secondary elective programs, and also maintain our broad-ranging extracurricular opportunities. Economies were realized as only positions held by those who are retiring or not returning were removed, with some of these positions shifted to fill areas of specific need. Under the circumstances, we needed to respond to the current fiscal realities, as well as anticipate post-pandemic needs. It's highly likely that schools, upon reopening, will look somewhat different than they did when they closed on Friday, March 13th. As listed here, some of these differences, addressing student and staff health and well-being, will come with a cost, and that cost had to be anticipated throughout the budget development process. Next, we also had to account for a significant revenue reduction in the form of state aid. The governor has directed the State Division of Budget to reduce aid to schools based on state revenue shortfalls, which are currently estimated or anticipated to be near 20%. Revenues at the state level will be reviewed at the end of each of the measurement periods listed here, and this could lead to even further reductions if there is no additional federal stimulus funding provided. And the last column on this slide shows a considerable difference in aid between what we expected just a few short weeks ago and what we expect for 2021 as it currently stands. Next, within our plan, it was important for us to continue addressing building infrastructure needs. And as you probably know, our buildings are an average of 60 years old, and 60-year-old buildings require repair and replacement to keep them running smoothly. The second proposition on the ballot will permit our use of money already in existing district capital reserve accounts to complete the projects listed here. Very briefly, the Southdown Solar Project will lead to long-term savings, and we hope to do something similar in the other buildings over the years in an incremental manner. The Huntington High School roof is in need of replacement. We actually started replacing sections a short time ago. We're doing it section by section over the years to make it more cost manageable. Finley boilers are similarly in need of replacement, and they'll be replaced with new more cost-efficient units. Science rooms at J. Taylor Finley Middle School and the auditorium at Jack Abrams STEM, both are heavily used facilities and require updates to enhance their safety as well as their educational and community value. Just a reminder that funding for these projects is already in our capital reserve accounts. Using it will have no impact on the tax levy or the tax rate. This specific reserve funding can be used for no other purpose at any time. And if the proposition is not approved, the monies must remain in the capital reserves for future capital use only. Lastly, our budget plan was designed to consider long-term fiscal needs. The pandemic is likely to increase current and future expenses in significant areas such as retirement systems, both teacher and employee, health and other insurances, transportation, just to name a few. For the 2021 school budget, we've actually increased other specific reserve applications to address these costs instead of increasing taxes to do so. And this slide shows several areas where reserve and fund balance contributions were increased to avoid further tax levy increases. The absentee ballot you'll receive shortly will contain 4 items that require your attention. The first item on the ballot is the 2021 budget proposition. The second item on the ballot, as described, is the capital reserve appropriation, the capital proposition. And again, this will involve, if approved, no increase in either the tax levy or the tax rate. The monies for the capital projects are already existing in the designated reserve accounts. Also on the ballot will be a chance to vote for 2 Board of Education trustee candidates, Huntington School District, and a chance to vote for 1 board trustee candidate, the Huntington Public Library. Unlike every other year, there will be only one opportunity to vote on the 2021 school district budget. If the budget is voted down, there will be no revote. The district would operate on a contingency budget that would require an additional $1.949 million reduction in costs, shown here. Almost $500,000 of that would be in equipment, and the rest would come from our program and capital budget components. You see that total in the lower right-hand corner. As a reminder, the revised board meeting budget timeline, the calendar is here. On Monday, June 1st, regular business meeting of the board and public budget hearing. Added budget board meeting on June 8th, Monday, June 8th. And of course, absentee ballots due by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, June 9th. You should receive those ballots in the mail on or before May 29th. Return them in the postage paid envelope. And the final meeting of the school year, Monday, June 22nd, regular board business meeting will also involve a certification of the vote and election results. Additional information on the vote is always available on our school district website, www.hufsd.edu. And I thank you very much for your attention, and I wish our Huntington families the best of health and patience moving forward.